how do they do it? Do they know about the rest of the modern world? What do they think of us? I mean, I heard stories about isolated communities living around the globe, but now that I visited one, lived with them for a bit, completely blown away. Try to let go of your judgment for a little bit and put yourself in this beautiful state of curiosity. Picture this, near the northernmost tip of South America, in what today we call Colombia, land rises abruptly to an isolated mountain massif of immense height, 5,700 meters, just 42 kilometers from the Caribbean coast. The Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. And almost completely hidden in this, several indigenous communities have, to various degrees, preserved their traditional ways of life. One of those communities are the Kogis, a small, isolated society living in and around villages made of wood and clay. Besides some occasional acquisitions like machetes, rubber boots or salt, the Kogi people live mostly self-supported. No electricity, no industry, almost no modernity. This looked like poverty at first. But as soon as you get a glimpse of the deep spirituality of the Kogis, you suddenly get drawn into a dimension of unexpected inner depth, revealing a richness of thoughts and tales, a subtlety of expression in gesture and presence that reveals an ancient but carefully preserved cultural tradition. One of those traditions is the producing of their very spare but highly functional everyday objects. Kogi men weave their clothes, an activity rather private and hidden to an outsider's eye, while Kogi women can be seen almost at all times knitting carrying bags of magai fibers. Both of those activities have a large symbolic significance and are central to Kogi cosmology, religion and philosophy. To weave is to think, they say. And while weaving, one shall weave the fabric of life. The Kogis believe everything is connected. The natural mother, the sea, the mountains, the rhythm of the forest, one big living weave. Harmony, the Kogis say, is holding everything in balance. And just as they dye the fibers of the trees with natural colors provided by the forest, one shall fill his life with thoughts and activities to color one's soul. It's the wisdom of the shamans, called mamas, who are the spiritual leaders. They spent decades learning in darkness, isolated in caves somewhere higher in the mountains, to see without eyes and to understand what the land says. They learn to listen. To the voices of rain, of thunder, time, and the spirits. The Kogis say they can understand the greater good of this ensemble, and at the center of it all lays the natural mother. She teaches, take care of the land, protect the waters, and take no more than what you need. They say the mountain is the heart of the world, in which they live and connect the thread. Day by day, knot by knot, weaving the fabric of life.
Aí quero aqui, minha que se vai porque por ejemplo
Bueno, nace hini sahanji nace hini sainaji sha arle chi zunze guka mai nani mai sinahango bueno sainaji sha hini kagabak arle chi arze shingun sinahango makwake bueno chaka hini ke bueno hini nace ke Habangan hate kwange kasa kujini shiz nkajishi kumubwenu kaga kwenye yani nuka kishikije kamadu nuka kishikije ka gaku yega nasan ka ini shklersha ini ga ikat higa bunu ka ki awqati nu ka kishkijika hita nu ka kishkijika ta hikia chini ta hini hagle hanchi zunzeshi kachekwe ta ne nas moku hini mitawdi moku biahaji ini zutune gicha miash hagle hanchi Mizega sinzazi hana nega tazi ini kizerta ini kina kamudetu nega ki mai hega muska mentu ga denga gawa hi ade gawa kakagi ga de kuia hi gua semento ga ne hi ga karu ga ne zega cha mudetu hanje zega ki ne nasi hini ade sahanzi hini kaje kaduka to haikino kamia como bueno, j'ai kakar zanqlalaki, j'ai hui atema zanqlalaki, j'ai no haki zanqlalaki na chega, le hanchi zanzesh qakwene, ni qlhega bagle bueno gazer, ni hega bueno gazangarsha, gaku hega bien ga no ner, hi gaku kinega ki, gatsama nas ni qaqoha au hanga nak. Ta nas nkeki to narna hinyak le hanchi zanze je no gakwe ta heki hanguge
Of course, all of this is an abstraction. Distorted and shaped by my own perspective. Ultimately, I cannot pretend to understand what was truly happening there. But that's okay. We never know anything of things except what we ourselves put into them. And maybe that's all I can do. To try to express what got to my mind while experiencing this. And what came to my mind was that I started to reflect. Because the Kogis are not simply surviving in the past. They are carrying it. Their world is not untouched by time, but it hasn't surrendered to it either. This is a reflection. Not necessarily about good or bad, but more importantly, about the speed in which it develops.
Was in truth a complete transformation in the English way of life. Towns became cities, and manufacturing was transferred from quiet homesteads to factories. Now, with Watt's invention and with improved methods of making iron and steel, the Industrial Revolution was an accomplished fact.
The age of electricity has completely changed our way of life. You have only to push a button, and these marvels of machinery leap to life to give us wealth.
Well, if you're worried, why don't you call her up?
Hello? Sally?
Building material of modern industry. Iron, the most useful of all metals. Everywhere we look, we see iron. For the silent transmission of power from engines to rear wheels.
It was back in 1903 that the pioneering Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, flew the first heavier-than-air machine above the sands of Kill Devil Hill.
This is a microscopic view of magnified several million times.
You can roughly locate any community in the world, somewhere along a scale running all the way from democracy to despotism.
To a dream as old as man himself, a giant of limitless power at man's command.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
And we all have this feeling that I came into this world. Now it isn't true. You came out of this world, like a leaf comes out of a tree.
The Long Beach oil fields have produced millions of barrels of oil.
I regard myself as a soldier, though a soldier of peace.
Moi, je me considère comme un soldat, quand même, un soldat de la paix.
Time for the healing of the wounds has come.
3, 2, 1.
The moment to preach the curses that divide us has come. The time to build is upon us. We know it well that none of us acting alone can achieve success. We must therefore act together as a united people for the birth of a new world. Let there be justice for all.
Esperando a que cambiemos de corazón, que compartan los humanos lo que les da por bendición. Agricultura, yuca y malanga, cañita dulce y buena batata. A las personas que vienen de Santa Marta, escuchen la voz de la India enamorada. A las personas que vienen de Río Hacha, escuchen la voz de la India enamorada. Enamorada de la Sierra Nevada, enamorada de esta tierra sagrada, enamorada de la Sierra Nevada, enamorada de esta tierra sagrada.